First Corinthians 7, now concerning the matters about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to have sexual relations with a woman. That is the stand of the Corinthian church, and Paul disagreed because they're sort of advocating sort of a sexual abstinence, which is a no-go, especially in a modern society today. Verse 2, but because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. The husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. Now, I do like the fact that the wife should give her conjugal, the husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights. Conjugal rights means marital rights. In this case, is with sexual relationship, okay? And likewise, the wife to her husband. In other words, put it more bluntly, wife should not refuse to have sexual relationship with the husband. But of course, practicality rules. There's mood and everything. So, give and take, that kind of thing should happen, will happen. But that is understandable. But the principle never doesn't change, that husband should give to the wife her conjugal right. Wife should give to her husband his conjugal rights. Okay, that's clear. But it is interesting that Paul said it is not good for, because of the temptation of sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. I think that's not the main reason to get married. And the context, Paul said it in that context because the church is having a sort of self-abstinent theology called from somewhere out of nowhere. That's the context. But if you look at Genesis 2, man and woman was created. God gave woman at Eve to Adam, the man, as a helper. The helper is a complementary, is to help, to fill in what the man can't do. It's not like help you to do the chores, that kind of thing. Even though that's included too, but that's a minor part. The big part of it is to fill in, to help. You realize how much the man really needs a woman. That's why it's the saying that behind every great man, there's always a great woman. Okay, so that is a true, real thing. That's exactly what it means. God brought Eve to Adam, and then God said, be fruitful and multiply. Procreation and is part of the purpose of God to rule over this world. Dominion theology, which is the the command of God to rule over this world. I don't mean the ruling like you're saying in a non-godly way, abusive way. No, you rule according to God's will and God's ways. So that is what it means. God has called us to multiply, be fruitful, and rule. Dominion theology, and rule over the earth. Now, that's why Christians are called out today to speak into the different sphere of our daily life, to participate, to speak our voice, and to be in the world, but not of the world, but changing the world, be a salt to the world. Okay, so it's a sort of a clash between the kingdoms of darkness and kingdom of light. And God has called us to rule over the world through what? Through multiplication. Did you see that? That's why there's a very strong valid ground to grow the church. That's right. To evangelize, to make disciples of all nations. Because all this is part of the goal, the calling of God. And how does that come from? That comes through marriage. That comes through sexual relationship. So I don't think that sexual relationship, marriage relationship, you get married because of a temptation, sexual relationship only. Though that definitely is part of it, but that's not the main part of it. The main part of it is the calling of God to fulfill the mandate of God, which is to rule over the world with godliness, with godly mandate, giving the people the taste of heaven on earth. Hallelujah. And that is coming through marriage relationship, and sexual relationship is part of it. How can you rule if half of the time you're facing temptations by a woman because you are burning with lust? So that has to be part of the story, the narrative. Okay, so